God. We often see Jesus withdrew to pray. That was boundary. He chose solitude over constant availability. Boundary protect your yes. Saying no actually makes room for rest and obedience. You're not being disobedient when you rest. You're actually rejuvenating.
Doing something amazing. He's always away. Doing something amazing. Because of his grace.
What happens when your faith runs out, but life keeps demanding more? In today's video, we're talking about the moments when faith reach breaking points and how God doesn't leave us there. Have you ever felt like your faith is wearing you down instead of lifting you up? You pray, you serve, you encourage others, but secretly you are exhausted. Not just tired, but so tired. This video is for anyone who feel like they're holding it all together for God while falling apart inside. So let's dive into something most faith spaces don't talk about openly. Burnout. Guys, burnout is real. I look up the statistics on burnout. It is so scary. Let me share with you. It says that 80% of pastors experience burnout at some point in their ministry. Now, out of that 80, 30 to 46 have reported symptoms, with many actually considering quitting. Now, 33 to 42% have, considered leaving their roles in recent years. Many clergies have also experienced exhaustion, isolation, and loneliness. This is not just statistics. These numbers are real. So today we're going to explore what spiritual fatigue looks like. What does the Bible say about it? And one powerful truth that can tilt us towards healing. So stay with me, because in the middle of a breakdown, there is also a breakthrough. Before we continue with our topic, I want to take this opportunity to invite you to the Great Awakening team, Springs of Fire, happening here in Ottawa. So we're starting with apostolic and leadership training. If you're someone who is in ministry or you're aspiring to go into ministry, this training is good for you. It's all free. We also have a business seminar with speakers coming from US, Canada, and Africa. So you don't want to miss this. It's all free. So come, every detail is right on the poster. We have the worship later on the day after the training, and we also have our books displayed right at the venue. So the venue, the time, everything is on the poster. Do not miss this opportunity. It's all free, guys. So I'm expecting to see you there on the 20th of September. So let's talk about burnout. What does burnout really look like in a believer's life? We often think about burnout as being tired. But in faith, it could look like going through motion in worship, serving out of guilt, feeling numb when praying, saying yes when your soul is screaming rest. I'd like you to pause. Ask yourself, am I showing up for God or am I performing? What does burnout look like in the Bible? Let's look at the example of Elijah in 1 Kings 19. Elijah had major victory on Mount Carmel. Fire came down from heaven, enemies defeated. But right after that, he runs and says, I've had enough. That's burnout. And God doesn't rebuke him. Instead, he calls him to rest. And we also hear Jesus calling us to rest in Matthew 11:28-30. He says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Faith doesn't make us immune to fatigue. Even Jesus needed quiet spaces. Just in case you're asking, how can I prevent burnout? Boundaries. Boundary is one way that you can actually prevent burnout. Boundaries doesn't make you love less. It actually says, I've accepted that I'm a human and not God. We often see Jesus withdrew to pray. That was boundary. He chose solitude over constant availability. Boundary protect your yes. Saying no actually makes room for rest and obedience. You're not being disobedient when you rest. You're actually rejuvenating. Now, here is the question. Why do so many Christians feel ashamed for needing help, rest, or even counseling? The enemy loves to convince us that rest equals weakness. Our Jesus, modeled rest. You are not failing. You are human, and that's who God has called. Shame thrives in silence, but healing begins with the truth. You don't have to quit your faith. You may just have to find different way to care for it. Remember the example of King David in the Bible. When his soul was tired and weary, he cried out to God in Psalm 23 verse 2. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. David knew perfectly well that there was no other place that he could find perfect rest except in God. And the scriptures didn't even end there. We also saw another example in Isaiah 40:29. He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might, he increases strength. Now, let me ask you, what are you carrying that God didn't give you? In community, find spaces where you can show up the way you are. No performance required. And remember that therapy and prayer goes together, not in opposites. If your faith feels heavy, you are not alone and you are not broken. God is not disappointed in you. He's drawing you closer. Sometimes he doesn't call us to fight. He actually calls us to rest. If this video has blessed you, don't forget to share it with someone and leave a comment. When has your faith felt heavy and how did you respond? And don't forget to subscribe because we are building a community of honest healing. And until I come your way again, this is still amazing.